Now it's on.
Okay. That was I want to put it on.
No one.
Okay. I can see blue lights. It must have went out. You just never know. Is everything okay now? Can you hear us now? Good, 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 good. Yes, Scott, I figured out what a pup cup was. And I wasn't aware that they called it that. And I said, we used to go into Starbucks all the time, and they would give us when we had Maggie, they'd give us a cup of whipped cream. And so I figured that's what a pup cup was, but I wasn't sure. And poor guy, hey, how far have you got? I know he was leaving this morning to head down here. And I said, don't be shocked when you get here because it's pretty chilly down here yet. I mean, it's warming up during the day. It's just first thing in the morning. It's cold this time of year, but it warms up during the day. But it's not supposed to get more than 59 today, and that's why we're on the back porch because it's a little bit chilly for me out front. But next week it'll probably be fine. I was complaining this morning about it being so cold, and my brothers and sisters up in Indiana, I think they probably laughed at me. Oh my goodness. Oh, Craig says it's 22 degrees in Cleveland. Wow. Well, it was 31, I think, this morning when I got up, and me and Buddy took our walk. And when we got back, he didn't want to take his coat off. He wanted to keep it on, and I finally got him out of it. But when he has that on, he gets warm, and he actually wants to lay down and sleep, which that gave me a break for a few minutes. So I left it on him for a while, but I finally got it off of him. Oh, you're in the middle of Virginia right now, poor guy. Okay. Well, I said, don't be in any hurry. And I said, just, we're going to be here. Hey, Tammy. Rich A says, hi, Sue, 29 degrees in Warminster, Pennsylvania, and windy. Oh, that's what's the worst, when it's, I don't mind the cold, but when it's windy out, it kind of cuts through you when it's cold. So, and usually it's funny because we don't have very much wind in the morning normally. And so when me and Buddy take our walk, it's, the temperature's down, but it's not as bad because the wind isn't blowing. And then about 10 o'clock, the wind picks up. I don't know why. It's just the way it is around here. And about 10 o'clock, the wind picks up. And sometimes in the afternoon, it gets really windy. So I said, we do have some more wind today than what we had this morning. But it's still not bad. But like I said, it's still too cold for me to be on the front porch. I'm a weenie when it comes to that kind of thing. I couldn't stand that wind blowing on me. Let's see. Patricia Smith said, I left my house in the Villages in my motorhome in Punta Gorda. It's warmer in Southwest Florida. Oh, I'm sure it is. Like I said, I have a neighbor right now that's in Naples, and she told me that she was heading south because it was a little bit warmer, and I understand that. But like, it's not really bad here, and like I said, in a couple of days it'll be back to normal. This is our winter. And people don't think of Florida as getting cold, but we do have some cold days. But that's one thing. In the morning, it's cold during the night, and early in the morning, it's cold. Then the sun comes out, the temperature goes back up, and we're good to go. But that polar vortex that they keep advertising, why, it's with us now. So that's why we got in the 30s. We very seldom get down that low. We have maybe 2 or 3 days a year that gets down that low. And altogether, I've always said, and this year may make me a liar, but I've always said we have like 18 to 19 days of winter here. And by winter, I'm thinking 40s into the 30s. That's winter here. So altogether, I said we have maybe 18 days for the whole of the winter. Now this year, like I started getting colder, like we started having cool weather in November, which normally, sometimes it doesn't get cold like this until Christmas. So we've had our share. So like I said, it might make a liar out of me this time. It might be cold for a while, but it's not bad. And I said, as long as the sun's just shining, I hate those cold, dreary days. Up north, that's kind of the way it was. I mean, it would not only get cold, but it'd be so dreary. And I said, some days you just pray for the sun to come out, and it didn't happen, but it does here. And I said, we have a couple rainy days, maybe that it'll get cloudy or what have you. Have a lot of clouds, but normally we have a spectacular sun, and the sky's as blue as could be, and I'm good with that. Let's see. And then we love Punta Gorda, Patricia. We do. Joseph Smith, 55 in Kissimmee, but 20 with 12 inches of snow back in Ohio. Yeah, I was going to say, my family in Indiana laughed at me because they said, next week will be normal, but they'll still be shoveling snow. I told them I felt for them.
I got the settings set for subscribers only.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, I'll do that every now and then. So warning, if you're typing anything in the chat box and you're not seeing it come up in the chat box and you wonder what's going on, that means you're not subscribed. It's set for the only people that can make a comment are subscribers only.
Yeah, and you got to check that every so often because for some reason, we don't know what it is. For some reason, you think you're subscribed and for some reason you're not. So I said, you need to do it over again.
It makes updates. It happens all the time. They make updates. It's automatic. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't, I can't do it. I can't do like my computer. I can set it to where my computer will not update unless I give it permission. Because even on the computer, if the Lenovo, which is a computer I got in the studio, if Lenovo has updates, and this has happened to me twice, and I let it go ahead and update, one time it did that, and then it wouldn't connect to the internet. It just wouldn't do it. I can't have that. So I just don't even, as long as everything's working good, I don't want any updates whatsoever on that computer. And YouTube, I can't do that. They decide they're going to do an update at 3 o'clock in the morning while I'm sleeping. I get up next day and find out there's glitches here and there. Yeah. And
so this is a good time to check and see if you are subscribed. And I said, if not, well, I said, do it over again. Yeah. And always hit that thumbs up for us. That way we know that you're here and you're liking our content. And we don't do anything special. Just kind of answer your questions or just yak if you want to.
I don't know what's in those things over here. Buddy chews the hell out of them.
I told you I love those things. They're cheese. They're called Himalayan chews.
What are they made out of?
Cheese. I don't know what they've added to them to make them so hard, but the main ingredient.
Does it make his poop hard?
No. But the main ingredient is cheese, and so he loves them.
I'm afraid he's going to break a tooth off.
Well, that's what I was afraid of, especially when they get small. And when they get small, you're supposed to put it in the microwave, and it'll puff up like popcorn. Never did that before because he eats them all. But he really, really loves them.
Terry says it's 29 and very windy here in Gloucester. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Gloucester, is that Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Marcia says, I'm awaiting my storm provisions from Walmart, whatever is left. It's going to be a long day on Friday. Yes, I said.
Where's she at?
And Marcia.
Where's she at?
Where you at, Marcia?
Is she here?
No, it's not here.
I can't keep track of everybody. I know Marcia. I thought she had a place here.
Well, she may have a place here, but she evidently isn't here yet. And Elizabeth Chamberlain says, hi, Skip and Sue. Greetings from chilly Chicago. Headed to Florida on Saturday. Looking forward to being there. Yes, Elizabeth. And I said, don't be surprised when you get here.
Is there a snowstorm coming Friday?
Not here.
For that area?
Well, yeah.
Flight delay.
Yeah. But just be aware, it's not our normal wonderful weather, but the sun's out. So just bring a jacket.
Well, what I'm getting at, there's another snowstorm. I saw it on the news earlier today. That's going to go through the Midwest, and it goes right down to the mid part of Georgia. It's not coming down here, but we'll get the cold effect from it. But anyway, a snowstorm. If she has a connecting flight in Atlanta, which most of them do, flight delay.
Yeah, that's true. Catherine Jacobson says 17 degrees in Minnesota.
Wow. Marcia's in Atlanta. Marcia can tell you if they got a storm coming. And the snowstorm in Atlanta, I don't know how it is today, But back in the day when I drove a semi truck, the idea of an ice storm or a snowstorm in Atlanta back when I drove my own truck, 1 inch in Atlanta could have been considered a storm.
Yeah.
They don't have any snow removal equipment there. They didn't back then. And the funniest thing is I parked my truck. One thing about truck drivers, they know when to park and just wait it out. Nobody's in that big a hurry. And I sat in the rest area and I was watching people sliding all over the interstate out there. And it was just amazing to me that 1 inch of snow, and this is a major problem. And I saw a pickup truck that had bags of salt and sand probably in the back of a pickup truck, 2 guys with a shovel, and on the exit ramp, they got out and they would take their shovel and threw this stuff on the road so people wouldn't slide, off the road.
Yeah.
That's their snow removal right there.
Yeah, and it was scary coming through there. Of course, we were used to driving in that kind of stuff, but like I said, the amount of people that didn't know how, like I said, it was really, really scary to come through there and watch them try to negotiate the ice and the snow and what have you, because they don't normally have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Jerry says Rizzo's going south. Yeah, they got a little bit of a delay, but they're heading south.
He's going back down to Key West.
Hey, Kevin.
Well, no, actually Key West. He got one to Marathon Island. I don't blame him. If I had a house down there, I'd go down there too.
Yeah. Marcia says, if anyone traveling through Georgia on Friday, we are going to have an ice storm.
Well, that's what I thought. So if your connecting flight goes into Atlanta, unless they divert it somehow, some way, I don't know how all that's done, you could have a little problem Friday.
Yeah. We actually went around Atlanta last time. When we took side roads and went around.
You don't take a plane, right? Out of Chicago?
I don't. No, she's in Atlanta.
That's Marcia.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the lady that said she was coming down.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't ask. Jerry says Skip has a head microphone. Can we hear your thoughts?
Yeah.
God,
I have no thoughts.
I hope not. Oh, yes, and keep warm. William says, please keep warm. And yeah, that varmint on his head is his microphone. Why he put it up there, who knows? Okay, Matthew Barnes says, hi, Sue, watching from Isle Lamont, Vermont. 8 degrees outside here. Oh, my goodness. One of my neighbors down here comes from Vermont, and she's staying with her daughter. Her father passed away, so her daughter went and got her and brought her down here because the weather is severe up there. And so she brought her down here, and she loves Buddy. Like I have to take Buddy by every day so she gets her Buddy fix, because she had a little Shih Tzu and it passed away. So I said she just loves Buddy, and she's always giving me stuff for him. She gave me a Thunder Jacket, if y'all know what that is, because he's so hyper. But he's hyper because he's a puppy yet. But anyhow, I've never tried it yet.
You bit my finger.
Yeah, never tried it yet, but we've got one just in case. And she gave me a nice little bag that has a picture of a Shih Tzu on it, and it's homemade. You could tell it come from some kind of craft show or something that says "I love my Shih Tzu" on it. Just cute as could be. But she's always giving me stuff for Buddy because she loves Buddy. But anyhow, Matthew, Isle Lamont, Vermont. Whereabouts in the state is that?
Vermont's one of the states that I went through in a semi one time. Never had to stop there, pick anything, or deliver anything. But I was going from point A to point B, and I went through Vermont. And I don't know why. Maybe I was leaving Bronx, New York, and I wanted to get the hell out of town. Really, Bronx, New York to me, when I went in there, was scary. I didn't want nothing to do with that town ever again. But anyway, I went through Vermont, and I always thought, man, this looks like a nice state.
It's beautiful up there.
Well, it just looked clean, very clean.
I don't think I've ever been to Vermont.
Well, people have it. Well, I had the same thing. I'll admit it. You get this idea in your head what the northern East Coast is, and even though that's a small 1% of it, most of the East Coast is oceanside fronts, which you can imagine the fishing boats, the restaurants along the ocean side. Not too many beaches or anything because it's just too darn cold for all that. Even though they got them here and there, but not many. The people was very friendly that I met, and just looked like a good place to take a camper and park for a week.
I've always heard how pretty it is. So, Happy Porch Settin Wednesday from Ron 5850. Hey Ron, we're in.
Ron's from Long Island.
We're on the back porch today.
You're from Long Island. You're from Long Island, ain't you, Ron? Buddy, I'm not going to be playing this game all day. Go lay down. Go lay down with that.
Wrestler says, I guess I better finally subscribe then so I can chat. I'm so shy, so I seldom interact in the chat.
Don't listen to him. He just likes to stir up trouble.
Oh, my goodness. Marcia says Atlanta. She's in Atlanta. Okay. R&T says, cold day here in Great Lakes, Illinois, only 25 degrees. Yeah, I'm not missing it, guys. I mean, it was in the 30s here. But, then the sun come out, the sun's shining, and it's going up to 50-something today, and I could do that. I
almost did do this outside. I thought about it, but then I thought, I got to dig my long pants out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Shoes? I don't need shoes.
I wore shorts every day, except this year, but for last year, I think it was. I said, I'm going to go all year and never put on long pants. Mm-hmm. And did I go to a funeral last year? Brothers? I don't remember. Was that last year?
I don't remember.
2 years ago. Unless I went to a funeral. I didn't wear. And then Deb had a thing when she was here. She wanted to go a whole year and never put on shoes.
Yeah.
So.
And she did.
That's how bored we are.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Ron says 22 on Long Island. So that's what he said.
On Long Island.
Tammy says snowstorm possible on Friday in northeast Tennessee. Yeah, that storm system, why it's getting so bad today, I don't know. But
I was watching the news a while ago about the massive fires in California, which they have their fires in California along with the Santa Ana winds. It's like snow in Indiana. They know it's coming. They just don't know where and how bad. And anyway, this one here with 100-mile-an-hour winds, it's a struggle. I was out there once during the fires, had to make a delivery and everything. And they literally, when we got there, UPS gave us our stuff and told us to get out of town. They gave us a face mask and they said, get out of here. And we left. And so, it's a massive thing out there. But the thing I want to bring up, and I'm not making fun of the sickness, but whenever they have these news reports, they always in the corner down there, they have the sign language person for people that can't hear, right? Yeah, they can't hear. And so they do the sign language thing.
I know.
There was a black lady this morning, and I didn't even pay attention to what they were talking about. She was hilarious. It's kind of like a guitar player. You ever notice that some guitar players, and B.B. King was one of them, but whenever they're playing, they make all these faces when they're playing and stuff. This black lady, she was hilarious, man. You had to see her. She was just like, had the eyes popping and had the mouth going, and then she would go. It was hilarious to watch her.
Well, I don't know that much about sign language, but they made part of it, Original Bitch Carter says, still no snow removal plan in Atlanta. Yes, because, it takes a lot of money.
Well, why would they have it? You think about it. No more snow than they get. It ain't worth spending $1 billion for equipment.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's very expensive.
An inch of snow a year, maybe.
Yeah.
That stuff's not cheap. And then you got to hire somebody and all this kind of stuff. And so it just ain't worth it. I don't blame them. But the thing that kills me, the point I think I was trying to make is, it's in Indiana, it's in every state. These snowstorms are coming. Now it's days ahead of time. You know these ice storms are coming. This ain't like the 50s when everybody was guessing they didn't know. Now we know. These ice storms are coming, and I'm always amazed when I watch the news and I see 500 people all stuck in these huge drifts, and I'm wondering to myself, what the hell are they doing out there? Where are they going if that important?
Bread and cigarettes. You had to have bread and cigarettes.
Why wouldn't you buy that before? It's like a hurricane here. If people say I got stuck in a hurricane, that's bull hockey. We know this hurricane's coming a week before it gets here.
Oh, FNS Norris says, love the hat, Skip. What you got on?
My Border Patrol hat.
Oh, okay.
Actually, there's somebody here in the Villages, don't know who it is, or they're here now maybe, but they wasn't then. This person here was a border agent. I've been told the area they think they know this person is in, and I was going to stop and say hi if I ever see him over there. But He sent me 2 different hats. I got Border Patrol badges, patches. He sent me a box of stuff because he said the Border Patrol people down there watches this and they appreciated my support. And I appreciate him sending me this stuff. And then it was about a month or maybe 2 months ago, somebody, I forget who it was, it might have been somebody who worked for ICE. They sent me the ICE hat. So I've got that too, and I wear them.
Oh, and I feel bad because I should have reminded him last Sunday to wear his Ohio State hat.
I don't have an Ohio State hat.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
No.
All my hats are hanging in there, and I know exactly what I got. And Ron's got me mixed up with somebody else that he watches down here.
Okay.
And he sent them a hat, not me a hat.
Well, I know he asked if you'd wear the hat on.
If I had it and if it fits.
Yeah, and
I would wear it for him, yes. But he did not send me a hat.
Okay, Jason and Leah B says, hi from Massachusetts, snow, but too cold. Well, I understand. Joseph Smith says, we're heading. Jason and Leah B.
Is that JC? The guy who plays the guitar down here?
No.
Right.
And he was here during Christmas. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. He was supposed to send me an email, let me know where he's playing.
Well, and I just happened to see it. I don't know how long he was here, but I knew he played at McGrady's and he played at
I thought we'd call Ira and meet him wherever, get Ira drunk again.
Well, we'll do that next time it comes down. So, Joseph Smith says, we're heading from Kissimmee to Cincinnati, leaving early Saturday morning. I'm hoping the roads are clear through Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. It sounds sketchy. Yeah, especially in Kentucky. I said they've had some serious snow there. So be careful wherever you're going. Be very careful, especially if they're going to get another snowstorm on Friday. You don't know what you're running into. So, yeah, just be very, very careful. And bundle up. I see. The cold is not funny.
Jay said I retired last year as a civilian contractor for 8 years for Fort Dix. Did it, buddy? Did a 38-mile trek in the ice and snow each way. We know what that's like. Sue did 52 miles in snow and ice when she worked in Marion. We lived in Anderson, and it's 52 miles one way. And I told her many times, I said, just go to a hotel when you're up there and just stay there. Ain't no need to drive back and forth on this. But we had a couple of cars that everybody laughed at, but I'll tell you what, man, they would just chug right through that snow.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember the Gremlins?
I know.
We had a Gremlin and a Gremlin X. That Gremlin X was upscale.
Yeah.
And she drove him to work every day.
Now, during the blizzard of 78, I had his pickup truck. So I was able to get home. I was able to get home, but I got right to the driveway, and there was so much snow packed under the truck, it quit in between the street and the driveway. But I got home. Great Sunshine says, hi all from Chile, Michigan.
I don't even know where it went.
Cheryl Perry says, hi, Jason. What part of Massachusetts?
I don't know where it went.
Welcome, Jason and Leah. Yes. Jude 121 says, Joseph, I live in Tennessee. They are predicting lots of snow for Friday and south of Nashville, even more snow. That's what I said. That's just kind of a precarious time to have to go up there. But if you have to go, just be very careful.
I remember saying that a couple of times. If you got to go, you got to go.
Got to be in the 603 is here. She says, hey, Skip and Sue. Let's see. Chicola Levinyag Farms. Oh, okay. Levinyag Farms. Get yourself some island ice cream, Matthew. Is the Maple Fields at Crossroads open yet? Okay. Did you catch that, Matthew? She wants to know if the Maple Fields is open at Crossroads yet.
Yeah, you'll have to answer that. We have no idea what you're talking about.
Jerry Bell wants to know if Kathy B found her house yet.
Kathy B.
Yeah, in the 603?
I don't know. I think
she already found one, yeah.
I don't know. Sure. I don't remember.
Kevin Jack says, Skip, Karen and I played pickleball this morning. Well, that'll keep you warm.
They play pickleball every morning.
Well, I know. I was walking the dog and ran into a lady here in the neighborhood, and she said they called off golf this morning. They said some of the ladies are just weenies. And I said, yeah, we're done out here walking the dogs.
Yeah, but Karen and them, they play pickleball every morning. These people come from Rhode Island. They're used to that ice and snow and the cold temps. So when they're down here and they say, well, it's cold today, it's 45 degrees out there, going,
Yeah.
we're going to go play pickleball. That's nothing.
Yeah. Matthew Barnes says, Sue, we live on an island on Lake Champlain. We're in the northwest corner of Vermont, bordering New York and Canada. Well, that's a good place to be.
Live in an island?
Yeah, that's what it says. Live on an island on Lake Champlain.
So you have to take a boat to go to work?
I don't know.
I don't know. Or is there like a bridge?
I don't know.
Like Mackinac Island, they got that bridge?
Ah. Jason and Leah B says, we're on Martha's Vineyard. Hopefully the village is soon.
Hi, Julie.
Yeah, we our neighbors used to be from, well, they were from Cape Cod, actually. And Kathy B says, is answering Jerry with nothing yet.
I don't like that.
I was looking at Well Point and the Patio Villa neighborhoods. They're all being used for lifestyle visits. I'll be down there in a couple of weeks, though, through March. Good, good, good. And I said, that used to be a good time of year. And I think we may be going to Texas this year, but I think we'll wait until April to go, maybe. And I think I've convinced my brother to come stay here while we're gone. You never know. See, Gracie says, Richmond, Virginia, when I woke up this morning, it was 13 degrees. It's 30 now. Expecting snow this Friday and Saturday. Yes. Now that next storm coming through, and that's all you kind of wait for in this time of year. You just wait for the next storm to come through. You wait till they clear it up, and then the next one comes through. Like I said, I don't miss it. Overjoyed says, bread, cigarettes, and booze. Yep. I said, when the storms are coming, that's the thing everybody needs, or everybody wants, anyhow.
Speaking of booze, I told Sue yesterday, I said, get me a case of beer next time you go to the store. I'm about out.
Yeah. But you've had that forever, so.
I've had it for a long time.
Rich A says, I retired last year as a civilian contractor for 8 years at Fort D. Oh, you already read that. Okay.
Hi, Jolie. I called her the other day, like 2 days ago.
Yeah?
Well, because her husband is supposed to have surgery. I thought he had surgery 2 weeks ago. And she said, no, he don't have surgery for two more weeks.
Oh, okay.
And they had a bunch of snow up there and said he was going to go out and shovel it. And I said, well, doesn't he have a snow blower? Yeah, but it's not running right. You know how the conversation goes.
Yeah. Family man says, I love when I know there's a snowstorm coming. Give me a reason to not have to leave the house. I understand. But, you know, if you think about it, I moved down here so I didn't have to sit in the house and wait to die. Because there's things to do down here. You can be outside. You can do other things. So I said, give it some thought. Missy Mo says, hi from the village of Case and Hammock. Chilly, but the sun is out. Yes, that's a nice thing. The sun's are shining. So it could be a little warmer, but it's doable. You still get out and do the things you want to do. Kathy
It
B.
is not. I'm looking at it. It is straight with the vinyl siding here. I'm looking at it right here.
What?
See how straight that is with the top of the screen? And that's what I line it up with. So refs are messing with me. He knows I got OCD about this stuff.
Yeah, somebody wanted to know if that was a compass on your head.
Compass.
And then Wrestler says, overjoyed, it skips moral compassion on the table. If you notice, he has a large crack in it. Okay, I'm reading the wrong thing. Okay.
What? I don't even know what you're saying.
Oh, well, nice, it didn't matter. I read the wrong thing. And Julie wants to know how we're doing. We're doing really good, honey. It's a little chilly down here, but the sun is shining. It's beautiful down here. I know you guys got some bad weather up there, so you be careful. Bundle up. Great Sunshine says, I had a Gremlin Levi Strauss edition, white with orange stripe in high school. Love that car. Yeah, we had a yellow one.
What's that?
Gremlin.
It was yellow with racing stripes All this with a 6-cylinder motor.
But I'm like you, I love that little car.
Had the wide tires on the back. I didn't think in snow it'd be worth a damn because of them wide tires, but it did okay, believe it or not.
And then Matthew says, yes, the new Maple Fields is open. Okay. And Matthew says, yes, Skip, there is a bridge. He's the one that lives on the island.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know because we have been places in the United States where people actually commute by boat. One of them, believe it or not, is Punta Gorda. It's nothing for people there. All the restaurants along the shoreline there have docks. People will take a boat wherever they live. They'll come over to a restaurant. They'll dock there next to the restaurant, and they'll get out and they'll walk in and eat, get back in the boat, and go home. So, which I think that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, Rethler said the iPad is now crooked by about a fourth of an inch.
It is not.
Oh, VS says, hope you're all doing great today. Hello from Charlotte. Well, VS, I said, welcome. We're doing fine. And like I said, it's a nice sunny day. And we're on the back porch because it's still kind of chilly. But I'll say the lanai. I'm sorry. That's my Indiana and me saying back porch. Nobody around here says back porch.
They have all kind of funny names down here to make things sound like they're worth more money. See, lanai sounds creative, doesn't it? Sounds like, oh, you got a lanai. In Indiana, we just call this a screened-in back porch.
Oh, it's a VS says building a home in Shady Brook, closed on April 7th. Well, good for you. That's I don't know a whole lot about Shady Brook. I know where it's at, but I don't know a whole lot about it yet because I haven't been down there and kind of hung around and looked around. I heard that Jose is coming to take you to lunch Friday. A quick lunch is what he said.
He's going to come over and pick me up in his shipmobile.
What is that?
You saw it when we went out and had the Christmas dinner out in the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Japanese-looking thing with the
It's
steering
the
wheel.
cutest thing.
The steering wheel's on the wrong side.
Yeah, it is.
The Japanese people must be this tall. I mean, I couldn't even hardly get in it.
It was funny watching him trying to get in this thing, and the steering wheel's on the wrong side. So that in itself was hilarious. But watching him get in it and the faces he made, and I said, Jose took a little bit of a video, but you couldn't see what I seen, and it was hilarious.
It's on Discord, I think.
Yeah. Craig
Everything's
Vernon.
on Discord. If you're not a Patreon member, become a Patreon member so I can send you a Discord link. And by the way, it seems that every now and then, if those of you that might know something, let me know. Every now and then, I think they're doing something wrong. I'll get somebody that'll say, okay, I'm on Discord. You have to invite me. There is no way to invite you. Right? When I send you a link, that's the invitation. So if there's something else that I can do, I would do it to get them on. Or are these people doing something wrong? Because I can't find them on Discord anywhere. But I've got over 200 people on there that got on. I didn't invite none of those people other than the link. They get the link, they get on. So I don't know what's going on there.
Craig Vernon is looking at homes and found something I liked, but roof is 11 years old. Village Realtor said would require inspection for insurance at 15 years.
That might be true.
All the insurance companies have their own criteria, and I've heard a lot of stuff. We had a subscriber that had to put in a new water heater because of the insurance. Never heard of that before, so that's something new. But they're being real picky because they've got so much hurricane
damage. Let me butt in. Who was it we met that said their water heater blew up when they wasn't here?
Oh, yeah.
So there might be some reasoning for them saying we need a new water heater after so many years. They rot from the inside out.
Yeah.
They weren't here. They were up north. They rented the house out. Water heater blew up and flooded the house. And it cost them, they had to have the floor removed, walls. I mean, it was a mess.
Yeah.
So there might be a reason for that. And I'll tell you what, a good water heater, what's it going to cost? $500, whatever. I think I'd rather pay that than to pay $30,000 or $40,000 house damage.
Yes. Well worth that. Yeah. And Kevin says, yes, absolutely. It's a nice day to take a walk. It is. The sun is shining. Just put your jacket on, put your coat on. And like I said, me and Buddy walked this morning.
You kidding me? People move to Florida. They don't have a coat. They don't bring a coat with them. Did you bring a coat? I didn't bring a coat. Did I bring a coat?
You brought a coat.
Well,
we keep them in the motorhome.
Oh, we keep them in the motorhome.
But they're here now.
Yeah, because motorhome travels a lot. But here, I think maybe I got a hoodie sweatshirt in there that I got when I was in California We was in San Diego because on the mountain up there where Linda lives, it gets kind of chilly.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that's the heaviest thing I got here is a hoodie.
Yeah, your coat's here. The black jacket, just like mine.
The RCA jacket?
Mm-hmm. It's here. It was in the camper, but it's here now.
Okay.
Because both of us.
I haven't gained an ounce. I've had that RCA jacket, I bet you, for 20 years.
Oh, my. Tammy says the temperature has made it up to 24 here. Well, I don't know what it is here, but it's looking better. I think it's probably up to the 50s.
I think the high today is supposed to be like 50. Right now,
59,
now it's 54.
Okay, I think 59 is supposed to be the high. So,
54, 1 p.m., 55. The high is going to be 4 o'clock, which will be 57. And the lows tonight will be at 1 a.m. It'll be 39 degrees, 37, 37, 36, 34. At 7. And when do you go to walking? What time do you go walking?
Usually about 6:30.
6:30 will be at the coldest, 34.
As I said, it was cold this morning. We didn't go out this morning till 7:30, but it was I think it said 31 on the temperature
all week.
gauge.
Today the high is 59. I'll read you the highs. Mm-hmm. Thursday will be 55. Friday will be 68. Saturday will be 59. Sunday will be 63. I have never seen really cold hang on this long down here.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is an unusual year. So
Monday's going to be 66. Tuesday's going to be 61.
It's the morning temperatures. It's really low.
Well, but it's not really even warming up.
Yeah, it will in another week or so.
Now, usually we get a cold snap. It lasts for 2 or 3 days and it goes back up. Then you'll go another week or two, then you get another little cold snap, and then it warms back up. This one's hanging on all week.
Wrestler said he was talking about that metal thing on the table in front of you. Oh, okay.
That ain't mine.
He said that it was supposed to be moral compass. It kind of messed the joke up. Okay.
That ain't mine.
Yeah, that's just some decorating stuff. Ron 5850 says back porch. If you called it a veranda, it would probably be worth more money.
Yeah. Me and some guys that went out and had beer and a burger after golf once, we were talking about that. So they call it lanai. And I said, I don't know why they use these fancy words down here for a screened-in back porch. And then somebody told me where they were from, this was called maybe a veranda. And then somebody in New York said, well, in New York, they call them and I forget what he said, but something else. And there was like a half a dozen names for the same thing.
Yeah. And BS says we call it a back porch too. When we got to Shady Brook, y'all can come down and check it out. Open invite. We will. I said we haven't been around Shady Brook a whole lot, and so it'd be a reason to go check it out.
I might have been through there with Jose, but with him driving, it was hard to tell. I was in this golf cart. It was just hard to tell. I mean, I did a couple of videos because it was long, and I didn't really want to edit everything out to make it look like it was fake. But if you watch that video, you'll see I got like this tour guide, and I just wanted to go eat. That's all we were supposed to do was go eat.
Oh, I think it was cool. Let's see. William says in 1980 we had a Gremlin. We put a Chevy 350 in it and used as a dragster. 12-second quarter mile, 130 miles an hour. Wow. Yeah.
Bring it down.
That was back in 80. You think he still got it?
We'll go play in it.
Gracie said we call it a screened-in back porch in Virginia too. We're not fancy. We know it's just. There has to be a reason why in Florida they call it a lanai.
It's just a Florida thing.
Well, no, I'm sure there's a reason. We'll look it up and find out because that is not. That's not an average name. So we'll look up and see what the reason is. Oh, and yeah, Jerry says that's your YouTuber of the Year award.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I'll never get that button at this rate. Never.
Yeah. No. Kevin Jack says Cisco broke ground on 460. I think he means Costco. Yes, I had a picture. Costco broke ground on 466. So they're supposed to be up and running by the last quarter.
Oh, I can't wait. We get to go to Costco and buy more crap.
Well, and East Part will be up and running by the end of this year too. So there's a lot of things going on around here. Susan Ray Norton says, hey, y'all. And yes, Wrestlers remind you, give us that thumbs up. That's important to us. And welcome, Susan. I know you've been here before, but I don't recall
Okay, I
Where are you
Googled
from?
it. The term lanai comes from the Hawaiian word for porch or veranda.
Okay.
All the same thing. It refers to a covered outdoor space uh, originated in Hawaii and is now popular in the other warm areas of the weather regions.
Okay. Well, that's what I knew there was a reason, but
So if you call it a back porch, covered back porch, or screened in back, that's correct. Or veranda is correct.
yeah.
Why they decided to call it a lanai is because basically people in the South don't want to be associated with anything from the North. And so they call it lanai because them rednecks up north call it a screened in porch. And by God, we're not going to call it that.
Laura says I replaced my water heater 9 months ago. $1,200 Chicago prices. Wow. Well, and you can
Is
get,
that an electric or a gas?
and you get different sizes too for how
Yeah,
much.
I was going to say, I don't know
Yeah.
what size that is. You got to remember down here, most houses here are really built for two people.
Yeah.
And so that's why the yards really ain't really big. Well, that and they can cram in more homes, make more money. But basically, most people here don't really want a big yard.
Well, no.
It's just too much to take care of. We got a small yard, really. And it seems like every time I turn around, there's always somebody coming by to fertilize, to mow, to cut bushes, to trim tree. It just seems like it's a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. Lisa Duncan says it gets cold down there too. Believe me, I scraped ice off a windshield a couple of years ago. Yes.
Oh, yeah, it gets cold here. You know, ask the strawberry farmers. You'll see that on the news. Right now, the strawberries are starting to come in.
Oh yeah, February and March are a great time for strawberries. And the Strawberry Festival in Plant City, if you live around here and you haven't been, it's really something to see. You know, the whole town turns into Strawberry Festival, and there's a couple places down there that they're excellent. Is all I can say. I said we took a bus trip down there once.
I went down there just to have strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, and it was excellent. It really, really was. It was pouring down rain when we went though. That was the bad part. But yeah, February and March are great, and we'll have a strawberry festival here in the Villages. I'm not sure what the date is yet. If I find it, I'll let you know. But they have one here in the Villages too. And but like I said, the one in Plant City is fabulous. They got some great entertainment. I think Reba's going to be there this year. A lot of country stars, but they also have some people that are more current. I don't know how else to say that. People that are more current, and but you just wouldn't believe the type of entertainment they have in that little bitty town. If you get a chance, go watch one of the concerts. Okay. VS says Skip is 100% correct. Water heaters over 10 years old are considered high risk of leaks. Over 15 years are considered very high risk. Average damage from water heater leak is 1,000 to 20,000 plus. Yeah, I mean the kind of damage it can do. You can imagine water in your house from that. It's
well, it's not just that, but also it's the piping in the houses down here. We don't have crawl spaces. We have cement slabs, and all your water pipes that go from one bathroom to another to the kitchen, it's all inside that concrete slab. And everybody knows concrete moves. It cracks. It moves, and it can also crack those lines. And if that happens, you got a mess. They got to chisel up all that concrete to get down to the water line. And then the other thing is, if any of those pipes go bad, like behind your dishwasher or whatever, you're talking about it. If you're on vacation or if you decide to go up north for a couple of weeks to visit family during Christmas or whatever, we've always recommended go out of your garage. Every house here's got one. Shut off the water to the entire house. Shut it off. Because that way, if a pipe does break for any reason, you're not going to flood the house.
Okay, Brad Shea says years ago they used to call the lanai a Florida room. Well,
That's
Brad,
right.
let me tell you.
I remember that.
Well, and I said the next door neighbors, they advertised that house with a Florida room instead of a lanai. The difference is they've got half of the lanai is
for like
built
this,
in, the other half is screened in. And it's usually
well, no, the Florida room in his house is actually part of the house. I mean, there's carpet on the floor. It's in the house, but it's separate from the dining area. It's kind of like a little I don't know what you like, a closet with no doors, you know? And then if on one side of it, there's a door and it takes him out to his lanai, which is about half the size of ours. But if you don't need a big lanai, I think that's a great idea.
But like I said, half of that lanai is called a Florida room, but it's built in. It's like the rest of the house. So, but yeah, like I said, it's all in the advertising, I think, because they actually advertise that as a house with a Florida room. So it's an extra room.
Everybody has different wants and needs when you come here.
Yeah.
It's all up to you. What do you like? What you don't like? What you can live with? What you can't live with? The biggest thing here that I think really it's for everybody is that the major problem here that I see with everybody, I don't care what size house you buy, is storage. Storage is a premium. You never have enough storage.
So
here.
don't bring in a lot of stuff with you that you don't need.
No, because it ends up being in the attic. It's stacked up in the garage like ours is. It ends up being every closet in the house has got crap in it. You go into the guest bedroom, you open the door up, there ain't room in there for a guest to put their stuff in there. It's just full of crap.
Yeah.
So just don't bring a lot of stuff, and just know that storage is a premium. And that's the only reason why I suggest, if you can, I didn't, but if you can, get a golf cart garage, because even if you don't have a golf cart, that little extra space over there is great for storage.
Yeah. Scott Hirschman says the golf cart rides with Jose are hysterical. More videos of the rides with Jose. Well, Scott, like I said, they're supposed to go to lunch Friday, and I'm sure they all video it all.
Scary thing is, though, he won't tell you where we're going.
I like that.
I asked him on Discord. I said, "So where are you figuring on taking me?" He says, "This is a surprise."
There you go. I said, so it should be a good video.
I have no idea.
Kevin says, I replaced my water heater, was bad too. Replaced was 14 years old.
Who,
Yeah.
Kevin Jacks?
Yeah.
Well, see, ours is 10 years old now.
Yeah.
And we have never had a problem with it, but I've got an electric heater. Up north, everything was gas. We always had gas dryers, gas water heaters,
stoves.
gas furnace, everything was gas. And I can tell you that furnaces were 20, 30 years old and worked perfect. We had them checked out. The burners were fine. The no cracks in the heat box. The water heaters could be 20 years old. Nothing wrong with them whatsoever. It was weird. We come down here and all of a sudden you start hearing all this 10-year stuff.
Yeah.
We never had that up there.
But it may be because of the intense heat in the summer. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I don't know. All I know is we had crap water everywhere we were at up north. It was always full of lime and rust, and you had to get water softeners. And we had terrible water, and we never had problems with this stuff.
Well, and Racer Girl and Catherine Jacobson both say Lanai is from Hawaii. That's what they call it in Hawaii. So, Elaine Skursky says, heard they want to change Florida state bird to the flamingo. Yeah, because, when I read that.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh.
And there was 2 or 3 other birds.
Why is that? We don't have flamingos around here.
Well,
it's only in one little spot where they migrate through, and that's it.
Well, the bird that is the state bird, it was kind of funny what it was. I thought it was odd, actually. We would probably vote for cranes.
I was going to say, that makes more sense to me.
Well,
they're here all the time.
But, the one that's the state bird, what is it now? I forget.
I don't know. It'll be the mockingbird. They're here all the time. I love them mockingbirds. They're here now. They're migrating back.
Yeah. William says the dragster gremlin was destroyed in Hurricane Andrew.
What?
The monster gremlin was destroyed in Hurricane Andrew.
Ah, I remember Andrew.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was in Miami at that time. He lost a car. We weren't down here then, but his sister lived down there, and he lost his car at Hurricane. He was funny. He was visiting his sister. I guess she had a condo, and he kept looking out. He was staying with her. Be quiet. He was staying with her. He looked out there, and he didn't like where the car was parked. I'm going to put you on the ground.
He wants his Chewy win on the ground.
And anyway, he moved it to the other side of the parking lot because he said it felt like it was safer over there because the wind was coming from one direction, so he moved it to the other side of the parking lot.
Baby.
And he said he got up the next day after the hurricane. Of course, they were probably up all night. And a tree had fell on his car, and totaled it. And he says that when he looked on the other side of the house where it was originally parked, there was nothing over there. Every car was fine. He's like, Father, I just left it alone. He said, I'd have been fine.
Oh, Brett Shea says, my hot water tank turned 10 last week. Preemptive strike. I replaced it this morning, not waiting until it floods the garage. There you go. Yeah, that's.
Maybe I should get it checked out.
I don't think it would hurt.
My grandpa always raised me as if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I don't want any problems either. I'm too old for problems.
And Wrestler says, a realtor might correct me, but I think a Florida room is enclosed as part of the house. And lanai is not necessarily.
Here in Florida,
enclosed.
by insurance, you cannot include, even if mine's enclosed. And if I I'm thinking about putting a mini split or something out here to heat it and cool it in the summer times and winter time. Right now, we just open this door right here and the heat flows out here and we're fine. It doesn't get that cold here at all. Mm-hmm. But you cannot consider this as any square footage of the house. Even if you take the doors out and have all this redesigned to make it look like part of the house and everything, if there's a step, and we have about a 2-inch step down here from the lanai into the house, you can't put that as part of the house. It has to be a level floor all the way through to be square. So in order for me to make it as part of square footage of my house, I'd have to have them come in, I don't know, pour concrete or something in here to bring it up to the same level as the living room. And that would probably be really expensive. They have to tear all this out. I'm not doing any of that.
But Ruster's right, that Florida room is enclosed as part of the house. Lanai is not necessarily fully enclosed.
Well, that's what his is. As I said, his Florida room is actually almost part of his dining room.
Right. And Laura Lambie says, my water heater is 40-gallon gas. Yeah, that's what we had up north, too.
We have 40 gallons.
Well, I don't know, it's 40 gallons.
I don't know what it was. We had kids at the time, and I can tell you we never run out of hot water. Now, they got the continuous hot water things. I think you got to have gas here. I think they put out a report that the electric ones they had down here, there's a big problem with them, and they don't recommend them. But I guess the gas ones are okay. I don't have gas, so I can't have one of them, or I would consider it.
Yeah. Gracie says Costco has a lot of organic food and low sugar food, great produce, excellent quality clothes. I've been a member since 1992.
Well, I just can't wait to get some of that organic food.
Well, Gracie, I've only been to Costco once. I go to Sam's and BJ's, but I've only been to Costco once, and I'm excited for it to come here because I've heard so much good stuff about it. And from what I understand, they stand behind their products, so that's a big deal right there. And I said, not that it would make a difference here, because I said we do have BJ's and Sam's, but
Tammy says that high levels of sulfur in Florida's water causes malfunctions in a hot water heater.
Oh, well, that's a possibility.
That's possible. Never heard that before. That sounds logical.
Gracie says, I remember in the 80s, the orange groves froze. Farmers were spraying with water trying to keep them warm. Yes. And that, that kind of started a pattern of problems with the fruit down here. I mean, it used to be, we would come down here and all the way down the highway, all you could smell was orange. You could smell the oranges everywhere. But it got between the bad weather and the disease, that citrus greening disease. Between that, I think we've been surpassed as far as oranges go by California now. There's still a lot of places here that have orange groves, but they're not on the scope of what they used to be. They're a lot smaller, and a lot of them are family-run businesses. I just seen in the paper yesterday that one of the big ones down south was going to other things other than fruit. So they're tired of fighting the battle. Every year it was something.
Whose battle?
The battle of the fruit between the pests and the diseases and the weather.
What are you talking about? I haven't paid attention.
No kidding. She says she remembered that the orange groves froze in the 1980s.
Yeah, there was, but it came into the point where a lot of them died out for, she said, diseases and whatever. And it's very expensive to replant orange trees. You got to wait years for them. They're very slow growing. Yeah. and they found out that they could plant pine trees to make telephone poles out of and ship them to Georgia, and they'd make telephone poles out of them and then ship them on up north. I mean, that's what they did.
And they're like I said, they're trying other industries. Like I said, the pine trees, of course, and olives. They're doing olives, and they've got wineries here, trying to take up that slack of what used to be all oranges. Because it's just so different than 20 years ago.
The wineries, I can see that happening, but where are they going to get the grapes? See, it's a problem. You got to ship this stuff in. They're not going to grow grapes here. Where's the vineyard?
They're out in the sand.
You got to put a bunch of chemicals in it, and that's the thing people don't want. That's why you're going to go to Costco to buy all that stuff that doesn't have chemicals in it.
Not all of them, but like I said, they do grow good in the sand.
No, they don't.
What do you think California has?
California grows all their grapes on the side of a mountain up there. California ain't sand. It's only on the beach. You get up around the mountains and stuff like that. That's the perfect environment for these great. Go to the vineyards out there and you'll see them. They're all on the sides of the hills and mountains where all the snow and stuff, when it brings that soil down to this valley, that's where the orchards are at.
Okay. Kevin says if you're coming down the villages, be careful when you drive around the roundabouts. Yes. It's
these roundabouts are killer. I swear to God, I've never seen anything like this. We got an email from one of our friends the other day. Said they were in a roundabout. She said, "Oh my God!" She said there was a lady in there talking on her cell phone, driving the wrong way in a roundabout. And my mind says, "How do you drive the wrong way in a roundabout?"
Yeah. Well, when I used to walk that far, I seen a semi come the wrong way in a roundabout. Now, there's
no left turns in a roundabout.
6 o'clock in the morning and nobody else was out there. But
I don't
still,
care. There's no left turns in a roundabout.
Yeah.
That's what they put a sign up for saying, no left turns.
But like the people that's not used to roundabouts don't know that. Yeah, too many close calls, Kevin. Yeah. Wrestler says, thanks, Laura. After being married for over 30 years, I am not accustomed to being told I am correct.
You do get acclimated here, and so I can really feel for the people that's lived in Florida, say, their whole life, and then all of a sudden they go up north, and they're not even thinking, really. Somebody, I think it was on Discord, one of my Discord people, I don't know who it was, said they flew for Christmas, going back home. They flew from here to Oklahoma to visit family, and without even thinking, he flew up there in his Florida garb. He had shorts on and a T-shirt, and when he stepped off the airplane, it was 20 degrees. And people were going, why would you do that? Well, he's lived here his whole life. He just never even thought.
Yeah. And William says, and that's why my water heater is outside of my house.
How many times did we leave Indianapolis to fly down here, and we'd get off the plane in Orlando or wherever? What's that other place called? Sanford. And we had our coats on, and we're peeling them babies off as soon as we got out of the airport.
Yes. And I know a lot of people do that. So
Nixon, when she came down from North Dakota to visit, she gets off the plane and she's walking the airport. And I'm looking at her going, where the hell did you think you were going?
But then, on a day like today, if you get off the airplane this morning and it's 37 degrees and you didn't bring your coat with you, so you don't need a whole lot of that stuff.
You stop by the duty-free shop.
Yeah, don't need a whole lot of that stuff, but you need some. So, Rich A wants to know if there's any orange groves left in Florida. In '76 was my first trip to Disney World. Orange and grapefruit stands all along the roads in Orlando area.
She must have been on Highway 4. Yeah, Highway 4 used to be just lined with orange groves. Not anymore. Yeah. It's all hotels and souvenir shops and things.
And houses like the villages.
Yeah, the biggest place down there is Solavita. It's a lot like the villages. Yeah. And of course, when you have a big development, around that development comes restaurants and grocery stores and doctor's offices, and it goes on and on and on. Yeah.
And Racer Girl says Florida room is supposed to have the same level floor as inside the house. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so, just so you know that you can't add the square footage when you go to list a house to sell, unless the floors are level.
And KM says hello.
And just like on some of the homes here, they'll tell you 3-bedroom. Well, here's the thing: if there's not a closet in that room, legally they cannot advertise that as a bedroom. It has to have a closet.
They call it a den.
They'll say 2 bedrooms and a den.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
KM says late to the porch. Hi, friends. Cold in Florida. Yes, ma'am. But it's getting better. And Jerry says, KM, when are you going to Iowa to warm up? You go to Iowa to warm up?
I don't know. It's probably warmer there than it is in some places down here.
Yeah.
With that snowstorm going through. Wasn't there supposed to be like an Arctic funnel, an Arctic bomb, some
vortex?
Whatever. No, well, whatever they call it. I think there's supposed to be one coming down Friday with that storm.
Yeah. Wrestler says Jose got smart. If it takes another 4 hours to get to lunch, Skip won't gripe as much. Yeah. That is why Jose won't tell Skip where they're going.
Next time he picks me up to go for a golf cart ride, I think I'm going to take a sandwich with me.
There you go. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Williams has changed the state bird to the middle finger. Well, it's not quite like that, but. Yeah,
most people here are they're laid back. Most people here are laid back. A little bit of what you see on the news or whatever, that's the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, maybe it's an old person thing. Like I'm kind of getting that way, I think. Even though the voting is over, and I don't want to get into politics, but even though the voting is over, people just seem to can't let it go. It's just constantly, the letters to the editor. I'm always looking for something interesting to read on the news for letters to the editor part, because people like that. And it gives me a chance to show you what other people are talking about here, not just me. And I can't find anything about the golf courses like normal. I can't find anything about, I don't know, whatever's going on around here with the ambulances and stuff like that. It's nothing but politics. It just goes on and on and on. Man, I just don't understand it.
Oh, and
that dog would get over this if you'd stop it.
Harley John says, looks like you just got the dog trained. That ain't happening, I don't think. No. We went to charm school and they kind of laughed at us. But this thing right here, actually, is a Himalayan chew, and he loves these things. I said they're hard cheese, and I said he'll sit here and chew on that thing forever.
Laura's talking to Wrestler. I'm missing out here. Says my job sharing coworker is going on parental leave for 3 months after April 1, so I'm not that worried about getting let go early. There's no one to do the work if we are both gone. Oh, it sounds like maybe the company's pulling a little trick here to get Laura to hang around for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Huh? It's all about this, Laura. Say, well, if you want me, it's going to cost you.
Overjoyce's northern mockingbird, slightly larger than a catbird.
I don't even know what a catbird is.
Flamingo, the state bird. Leave it to Florida and mess up an appropriate bird.
Here's my feeling about the so-called flamingo. You guys are getting that because people put pink flamingos, plastic things in their front yard. There's no flamingos in Florida. How can that be a state bird if it doesn't live here? The only place you'll find a flamingo is down south in Miami. I think there's an area where as they migrate through, they live in Africa, they migrate through going to South America, I think, something like that, and they stop off there to feed and whatever, and then they go on down. But there's no flamingos. To me, a state bird should be a bird that lives here. Lives here.
So the state bird is the mockingbird.
It is a mockingbird?
Yeah, but they want to change it to a
I don't think, well, if they want to change it to something else, that's fine, but make it a bird that lives here, and like the sandhill cranes. They're here all year round. Flamingos don't live here, so why would you make that a state bird? You might as well say that, well, I know, we'll call the dodo bird the Florida state bird.
Well, there was more than just one suggestion. 2 or 3 different birds, I don't remember them all.
Yeah, most people's suggestions ought to be put it in a little bag and just throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Was that too much?
Yeah. Laura says, my parents must have set a timer on hot water for showers. After 6 minutes, no hot water.
Can you do that?
I don't know.
Oh, I know she said, yeah, they run out of hot water. I know. Well, yeah. I've heard people up north when we had our kids, they say, well, our kids get in that shower, they won't get out, and by the time I go in there, I got no hot water and blah, blah, blah. We never had that problem.
Yeah.
Maybe our kids were just dirtier than others. I don't know. But we just never had that problem. Now, we had 5 granddaughters. And now, if we was going to run out of hot water, I would think we'd run out of that hot water with them girls. But what they did is they would put 2, 3, 4, 5 inches in the bathtub. And 2 or 3 of them would get in there together. Yeah. And they would play in this tub until the water got cold.
Yeah. Scott Hirschman says Costco also has $1.50 hot dogs.
Yeah, I mean that's the only reason why I would go is because they have $1.50 hot dogs, and I think that's with a Coke too.
I doubt as it is now, but
Well, I don't know. It was, and then I know as you walk around the store, there's always somebody standing around with free food to give you the samples.
I've sampled, and then that's how I've tried a lot of the meat-free stuff. And I said they put it out there. Doesn't mean it's always good, but I try it out. I said the fake chicken and that kind of stuff. Try it out that way and see if it's worth buying.
It ain't the idea that meat-free chicken don't taste good. The way they make it and give it to you on a toothpick, that tastes pretty good. It's what do you do with it when you bring it home? Are you going to put it in chili? Are you going to put it in vegetable soup? And that's where it gets rumped for me. Because sometimes that stuff mixed in with a tomato juice flavor or an onion flavor or whatever, it just makes it taste rotten. It smells rotten. And she brought me some chicken home that it's the coating on the outside. What do you call that?
Breading.
The breading. That or the grease. There's certain oils that if you cook a chicken in it, that when you smell it, it smells like it's rotten chicken, and I can't eat that.
Yeah. Barbara Ebner says to the party late. Hope all are well. We're doing good, Barbara.
She's got a meeting with her boss. She said,
"No, that's Laura."
Oh, Laura. No, one of them did. So they had a meeting with their bosses so they could get a definite time of my last day here, and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
She's been counting down these days for 2 years that I know of.
That's right. Good for you, Laura. Be careful, though. Some companies now will let you go once you make your intention to leave official. They claim it is for security concerns, theft of items, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's something you have to be careful of, but probably not. I'd say she's in a pretty substantial company. Barilla is a pretty substantial company, and so I don't think you probably have to worry about that too much. But
Joy says, who was it? Gracie says, I've seen pink flamingos loose by water at Epcot. That's their flamingos. They don't live here. They don't live here, Gracie. I mean, you can go to a zoo here. And I think Chicago also did it. There's a lot of zoos doing this now. The monkeys, certain monkeys, are tagged with trace. I don't know what you call them, like an iPad pod or whatever. But they inject it under the skin, or they have a collar on them. So if they get loose, they can trace them, find out where they're at. They turn them loose now in the zoo. They're in the trees. If you're over here eating a hamburger somewhere, a monkey may steal your fries. I mean, people find that all fun, and I got no problem with it. That's fine. But so a lot of these flamingos that you see walking around in Epcot, it's their flamingos.
Yeah. Got to be in the 603 says, I picked oranges at a place in Lady Lake last year. I can't remember the name. It was near Spanish Springs. Yes, over by where Eaton's Beach is and the Orange Blossom Opry, there's private groves. They're not huge, but they still have them. But the ones that were the factory groves and that kind of thing, those are the ones that kind of went the way of progress. They they could get more money out of the land by selling it for development.
Well, the biggest problem with the orange groves here is that the co-ops that bought the oranges, they closed their doors and they're gone. And that's what keeps your farmers alive where they're at, is the co-ops. When they harvest the corn, whatever they're harvesting, beans, wheat, will make a difference. They're in wagons or trucks, and those trucks are going to the nearest elevator, and that's where they sell it, and that's where they get paid. Well, here, all them areas where they used to take these oranges by the wagon load, those places are mostly closed down. And two of the biggest places that used to buy the oranges was Tropicana, which is in Tampa, and Donald Duck. Do they still make Donald Duck orange juice?
I don't know.
Well, Donald Duck orange juice used to be, I think, around the Fort Meade area or just north of Fort Meade area on highway, I want to say 92. I'm not sure if that's true. No, not 92. Anyway, whatever that road is that goes down to Fort Meade area there, Donald Duck used to have a buying co-op there, and I think it's all closed. So they don't have no reason to grow oranges anymore. There's nowhere to sell them.
Yeah. Great Sunshine says, curious, is it normal for the village's developers to pump concrete into underground cavities pre-building? Saw a video where they were doing this.
Yeah, they're filling in sinkholes and stuff. That's how they fill them in. Yeah. So if you have a sinkhole at your house, that's what your sinkhole insurance or your ground collapse insurance is going to pay a certain percentage of that, and that's an expensive process. because there are certain people in Florida that has the authority to have that done. Only certain people can do that. And then there's only certain people, like the chief or a fire chief or somebody like that, that has the authority to say it's fixed and walk away from it. I mean, it's a process, and it's not cheap. I mean, I've heard everywhere on an average sinkhole. What's an average sinkhole? I don't even know. 6 feet wide, 10 feet deep. I don't know. That it costs anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 to fix it, and you have to pay for it.
So you do want the insurance, not just the ground collapse. You want sinkhole.
Yeah,
insurance.
the ground collapse is required by state law to have catastrophic ground collapse insurance on your policy. You have to have that. They'll give that to you. That doesn't pay for everything. What that pays for, catastrophic ground collapse, will pay for, if I remember right, anything that does not affect the house. Like if it goes under the driveway and breaks the driveway, but it doesn't affect the house or anything. In order for sinkhole insurance to cover any sinkhole damage, they have to deem the house unlivable. In other words, they can tell you got to go. Once the fire chief says, pack your shit and get out, go to a hotel, we don't care, you can't come in here. Once that happens, that's sinkhole insurance right there.
Yeah.
Now, it may not destroy the house, but once he tells you to get out, that's sinkhole insurance right there. You need to get sinkhole insurance and buy what you can afford. Most of them has a pretty high co-payment. I think ours that we have here, I think we have like a $10,000 or $20,000 copay. I think. I don't
That's
really.
with insurance.
That's with insurance. That's what it's going to cost me.
Yeah.
So you always have to have this money kind of set aside somewhere in case.
Yeah. Brad Chase said, love the free orange juice and coconut patties at the Florida Welcome Center back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Those were so cool. I mean, it made you feel like we're finally in Florida. We come down here on vacation once we get that Welcome Center. There was always one that had a live alligator in it somewhere. And then they had the coconut heads. They were heads that were made like Indian heads.
They still got them, I think.
But that was so cool. But, I remember the hotels. All the hotels had hand cream, hand lotion, and soap and everything that smelled like oranges. They may still, we don't do many hotels down here anymore, but they may still have it. But I always loved that orange-smelling lotion. What was some of the other things that we had here? But like that,
palm trees.
No longer, palm trees.
We used to play a game with the grandkids to keep them busy. Let me know which one of you sees the first palm tree, because when we go to McDonald's, I'll get you whatever you want. It just kept them busy. But the funny thing is, though, they always seen the first palm tree in Georgia somewhere. We weren't even here.
Yeah. And over Joyce, the sandhill cranes work too, but everyone associates flamingos with Florida. They're adorable.
I don't know why.
They are. But,
I got nothing against them. I just think if you're going to pick a state bird, you should pick a bird that lives here, not one that don't live here. I mean, the idea of the eagle, they just now recently, and I was kind of shocked, they made that the emblem of America.
Yeah, and I did not know that either.
I always thought it always was.
Yeah, always thought it always was. So, good advertising. Marcia says, pelican, good suggestion for state bird. Yes, there was 2 or 3 different ones besides the flamingo. I can't remember what the others were. But I couldn't believe that the mockingbird was a state bird.
Well, I said I didn't know it was. That's why I said they all make it to mockingbird, because it's always here. It's always around. Anyway, Mark Berry says he loves Donald Duck orange juice, so apparently they still make it.
Yeah.
I bet it goes good with a little vodka in the morning, huh?
Yeah. And I said, my mimosas.
I thought mimosas was champagne.
Yes. Wrestler says, with Skip now living in Florida, they should change the state bird to the cuckoo bird.
Yeah, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah. Barbara says, yes, $1.50 hot dog and soda. Worth it. Yes.
Yeah, I'd get that probably. Go to the Fixins bar. Tell Sue, go ahead, I'll catch up with you. I ain't catching up with her. There's just something about shopping. I just can't get into walking around, looking at everything up here and knowing I'm not buying nothing. So why am
the sound keep going up and down? You've lost your thing.
It's right here.
Oh, okay. You need it on the outside.
Don't pay no attention to it. He's probably got a problem with his phone.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Let me check it, make sure.
Brad wanted to know if Laura's house shopping yet. And yeah, I'm really happy that you're getting close.
Who is?
Laura, count the days.
House shopping. Yeah, every time she comes down here, she
Yeah.
looks at a couple here and there. She ain't bought anything, but she's getting an idea of an area, or she's getting an idea of square footage,
Yeah.
or she's getting an idea of what do you call it, a layout of a house.
Yeah.
What do you call it, floor plan. And there's hundreds of them to choose from.
And she'd come down and she'd stay a couple weeks in a certain area, and then she'd stay a couple weeks in another area. And that way she knows, what she really likes and what she can afford, and the area that she likes and what they do there. And that's kind of the way to do it if you can swing
if you can afford it. And try to rent a house that you, it's what I've always said, but I mean, I know that sometimes money's an issue, but try to rent a house that you are considering buying. Rent that house for a week or two when you're down here. See if you really like that. And then it's just a matter, there is no bad area. I hate to say that when people say, well, what area would I want to live? That's up to you. There's no bad area. There's just some areas maybe you like better than others. Mm-hmm. Personally, me, I would live up around Lake Sumter area in a heartbeat. I like Lake Sumter area. I always have liked it. But it's changed over the years. It's not the same Lake Sumter that I remember. So I don't know if I would want to move there now without checking things out.
Williams is in South Dade County on Southwest 216th Street and 147th Avenue is Moki Jungle. The monkeys are free and visitors are in a cage. I like that idea.
Yeah, they do it. They do it at different zoos. We was at Brookfield Zoo. That's my favorite zoo. It's just a family tradition to go to Brookfield Zoo.
Oh yeah.
And I can remember going up there when Ziggy was alive, the largest elephant in the world in captivity, and the oldest. Anyway, they started doing that up there. They turned the monkeys loose in the zoo. They can leave the zoo and go out into the neighborhood that surrounds the Brookfield Zoo, but they don't. They just always hang around. Yeah. Now, they did have some peacocks, if I remember right. They were free. And I think the guy told me when we were up there talking to him that they had to go out and capture a couple of them. And I think he told me that one of the kangaroos got out. Now, they normally don't let kangaroos run around free. Somehow, something happened where a kangaroo got out, and they had to go. Can you imagine this in not downtown Chicago, but in a suburb area of Chicago, and we're running around trying to catch a kangaroo?
Yeah. Overjoyed says, oh my God, love the coconut patties and orange bubble gum and baby palm trees. We won't talk about the stuffed baby gators. Always love those welcome centers. They just have the neatest little stuff. And Skip's mom and dad used to come down here in the wintertime, and she would always bring me the shell jewelry boxes, the little boxes that had all the shells on them. And every year she'd bring me back either a hanging thing with shells on it, or those little jewelry boxes. And
jewelry boxes had she said seashells.
Yeah.
Had little seashells all over. We still got one or two of them in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and the coconut patties and the baby palm trees, those are so cute. Yeah. Oh, Overjoyed says not just a mockingbird, the northern mockingbird. That makes sense.
I have no idea what that is.
Well, I said the state bird. It's the northern mockingbird.
I never heard of a northern mockingbird.
I never did either.
Just like the catbird. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google this, by the way.
Okay. Laura Lamp says, I get listings sent to me, but I will need the funds when my house sells to buy a house in the Villages. Yes. Yes, but like I said, you've done your homework. I mean, you've come down and you've checked out different areas and looked at different kind of houses. And so you should be in pretty good shape when you do decide to buy.
Yeah, she knows more than the average person, so she'll be fine. And if she needs any help, she's got our phone number. She can always call. Sue will be glad to go up there and help you.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
Jason Leah B says, Kathy, being at 603, more people here in the winter than in the past. Not very much to do.
Well, as the place gets bigger, you're going to see more people.
Yeah.
Buddy, stop it.
Williams says, so many elderly people here in Florida, we should have the buzzard as the next neighbor.
Hey, you're not going to get no argument from me.
Yeah, that's about right. Rosemary Laptop says, my problem with buying a house in the Villages is that every time I come down there, I fall in love with a new model. Yeah, that's a problem. sometimes, I mean, I have house envy. I mean, I love our place here. It's big enough for us. It's just fine. It's a 3-bedroom. And I said, we don't have a golf cart garage, but we only have one car and one golf cart. And I said, like he said, it's not so much as having the golf cart garage, it's having the extra space. And
Catbird. Catbirds are a medium-sized songbird with long, rounded tails and straight bills. They are named for their cat-like meow call, but can also mimic. What does it say here? But can also mimic other birds and animals like frogs. Catbirds are common residents along the Atlantic coast, but migrate in the winter to the Gulf Coast. So they're here in Florida, they just go back and forth, I guess.
yeah,
Central America and the Caribbean. They tend to return to the same nesting habit each year, and they survive the previous season. That they survive in the previous season. So yeah, I'd be good with that. Catbird. I never heard of it, but if it lives there all the
there was
time.
a couple other, I didn't remember what they were. Mary Ann May says Lake Sumter has more full-time residents. That's a plus. Some areas have a greater number of second homers, making the neighborhood very quiet. I'm loving Liberty Park. Well, Mary Ann, we used to live in Caroline. So, we love the Lake Sumter area, and we really was going to buy in that area. But at the time, the price had went up, and I said, and we never had a new house before, so the realtor asked us if we'd like to consider a new house. And so we did. And I said, we shouldn't have been in such a big hurry to buy, but we were. We were just glad to be here. But when we come full time, it was one of those things where we'd already sold the houses up north, and Skip got really concerned that we'd be homeless because we'd sold the patio villa in Caroline.
See, the thing you got to get used to here, coming down from the north, I'm used to northern ways of doing things. He's dropped it again. And usually up there, unless you're really giving something away, a house on an average, where I lived anyway, was 30 days on the market before you got offers and stuff. So we put our house on the market, and I think we just got lucky. We had a lady and I told her, I said, look, I'm a plain spoken kind of guy. Don't give me any rigmarole. Don't give me, that's an Indiana word, by the way, a rigmarole. And don't feed me any BS. If I need to do something, you guys speak plainly to me and let me know what it is I need to do. And she said, I got no problem with that. She said, we'll have an open house, and I'll probably be leaving you a honey-do list on tomorrow. I said, okay. So she did, and whatever's on the list, I took care of it. No matter how menial I thought it was, I took care of it. So then we had the big open house the next weekend. And by the end of that open house, I had 3 cash offers, full price.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. So anyway, that sold quick. So now we got 30 days after we get the closing here, because they wanted to close soon. The people that bought it, he was an Air Force guy from Arizona. And he wanted to close on it. And I said, well, I got no problem with that. I said, but I got to get rid of some stuff. So I had cars to get rid of. Well, you can imagine. So we got rid of all that. And then we come down here, and within that same month of coming down to our patio villa over there, we decided we was going to sell it. Because I couldn't, the car and a half garage, I just couldn't deal with that. Yeah. And so I said, we got to get something bigger.
And we weren't going to be snowbirds anymore.
And we weren't going to be snowbirds. We decided we're just going to stay here full time. So I said, I got to get a 2-car garage. I got to have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. She demands 2 baths, but actually, I don't think you can buy a house here that doesn't have at least 2 baths.
Well, it is a retirement village.
Yeah,
Anybody at that age range, they know the reason why you have 2 bathrooms.
Well, because the man stinks it up. So anyway, so we started looking. Well, I found this house that was in Caroline. It just happened to be down the road, and the guy put a for sale sign in the front yard. And I stopped by. Price was fair. I saw the house. Needed some updating. I didn't mind that so much. And I said, I'll buy it. And he said, well, I have to talk to the guy. This ain't my house. It's his house. So I'm trying to sell it for him, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, let me know. I said, I'll buy it. I said, as soon as I close on this one over here, I'll have the check, and I can just hand it to you. Well, he said, well, I don't know. He may not want to wait for his money and blah, blah, blah. And so anyway, that was about the same time that the big announcement came out, Brownwood. We're going to open up another square in South Brownwood. And we knew they were building down here, but they never said anything about a square. Well, as soon as they done that, everybody at Lake Sumter Landing area knew they was going to be in the middle of all 3 squares, and the price of houses literally went up $100,000 overnight. And this guy did the same thing. So we're out.
Yeah.
And the real estate lady says, do you ever think about buying a new house? I said, well, if I can't afford to buy a pre-owned home, this is where I learned, just like we're telling you things, because we didn't know either. I said, if I can't afford to buy a pre-owned home, because in Indiana, pre-owns are usually cheaper than buying brand new. I said, how can I afford a brand new one? She said, well, let's go down and take a look. Well, this brand new house here was the same price as that pre-owned. No, it was cheaper. That pre-owned went up $100,000 overnight because of them and that announcement. And so I told Sue, I said, well, we've never owned a new house in our whole life. I think everybody should own at least one new house. Let's just go ahead and buy something. I said, how many houses do we have to choose from? And she showed us 3 homes. We looked at all 3 of them. They're all the same. I said, how about that one? Anyway, make a long story short, I couldn't get what I wanted because they sold houses here differently then than they do today. And I probably should have just rented something for a month or 2, but I didn't. I just didn't.
Yeah. And I said, we were just excited to be here and just didn't think of it. And I said, we should have took our time about it, and we didn't. So.
Because I wanted a house across the street.
Yeah.
That's the one I really wanted.
But it wasn't released at that time.
Well, here's the funny part. They said it wasn't available. But the people that ended up moving in there were village realtors. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. Barbara wants to know, I wonder how you can find out how many residents are full-time in different areas. Well, the real estate people can tell you that.
I don't think they can.
I think they can.
I don't think they can. You might as well ask them right now, how many rental homes are in this area? They don't know.
Oh, my. I've seen a lot of statistics, and they put out a little book quarterly.
I think they're made-up statistics.
But I think, you might ask Ira or call the village's realtors, but I think they have an idea. They may not give you an exact number, but they probably have an idea of how many are full-time. So
I might ask Ira. He wants me and Sue to come over and do a podcast with him. I haven't done it. He's been asking me now for 6 months, and I still haven't done it. But if I ever do go over there, I'll ask him straight out, is there any way to find out how many people in any village, in the villages, how many in that area are full-time as opposed to snowbirds? Because where you really don't have to worry about it, really, seriously, really, to God, listen to me. It's always in the villa areas. That's your rental homes. That's your snowbirds. Patio villas, courtyard villas, that's where 90% of your snowbirds are at. You're not going to have a snowbird unless they're, and I'm not saying that doesn't exist. There's a lot of people out there that's got a lot more money than we ever had that's going to buy a $500,000 home and come down and live in it for 3 months. Not too many. Yeah. I say that, but the lady behind us does that. So what can I tell you? Okay,
Jason Leadby says, I meant not much to do here where I am now. We can't wait to get there. Yeah, there's plenty to do here. Unless you actually have to pace yourself. When you first get here, there's so many things that you want to do. But that gets old. And I said, it wears you out if you do something every day of the week. And you can do something every day of the week here. But like I said, pace yourself because you won't be liking it as much. But try out different things. There's so many activities here. There's over 3,000 groups. But there's also all kinds of activities here. And the one thing that, you think you might like to do, glass fusion. But that's a pretty expensive hobby.
You have to get in line for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty expensive hobby. And like I said, sometimes there's a waiting list.
Or like the wood shop.
Yeah, the wood shop. And actually they had an advertisement in the paper the other day for wanting people for the wood shop, which I thought was odd.
Usually there's a year-long waiting list to even get in the wood shop.
So I don't know, it was odd that they had that. But now that they have 2 wood shops, they have one out on Rolling Acres, and then they have one here on Buena Vista.
I say buy all the equipment you need and turn your garage into a wood shop. Your neighbors will love you.
Yeah.
Especially if you let them come over and use your stuff.
But there's stuff here that you would not believe that they get together. I mean, there's the guy that Nostradamus, that made all the predictions. There's a group for his teaching. Edgar Casey, there's a group that talks about him all the time. One of the things in my newsletter here is the fencing club. And my brother used to do that when he was in college, and I never got to watch one of his matches. So Deb and I went and we did a video of the fencing expo, and they've got one coming up. And it's just it's nothing like what I thought it was. And I said, it was kind of interesting. They've got a bonsai club. You know, if you're not into the physical sports like pickleball or baseball.
We did video of the lady that's an older retired rockette.
Yeah, she does.
She started a
tap
dancing. I guess that's what you call it, but it seemed like there's more to it than just that. Yeah. But anyway, it's tap dancing class. And we went down and done video of her class when she started. Apparently, she got two classes, one in one rec center and one in another rec center.
Yeah, and then so there's so many things to do here. But like I said, don't try to do them all at once. I mean, if you're going to live here full time, you got plenty of time. Like I said, you pick out and choose what you want to do. And like I said, I want to get back to the cardio drumming. I love the cardio drumming, but the lady I went with quit doing it. And so I didn't want to go by myself. And in the wintertime, sometimes it's really hard to get into these classes. But at that time, they only had like one or two. But now I think they've got cardio drumming in several of the rec centers now, so it might be easier to get in and out. But like I said, carrying the stuff around was a little hard for me because you need the bucket and the ball and that kind of thing. But it was so much fun. It's a good workout, and I didn't hurt myself doing it. And it was a lot of fun. And so, you know, there's different things. I quit my painting classes. Of course, I quit most everything during COVID. I didn't go to anything. And so I want to get back into some of that stuff. And just haven't took the initiative to do that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. You just, like, take your time, figure out what you want. And they have a recreation news in the Daily Sun every Thursday. And that paper tells you what's going on at different recreation centers for that week. It goes from Thursday to Thursday. And so if you're into the baseball, pickleball, softball, swimming,
air rifle,
all that stuff, you know.
They have all these ranges here that's open for you. I mean, air rifle is a club you can join, but they have the ranges open. You can just go up there and, I don't know, accidentally shoot the guy next to you. I mean, there's all kinds of, you know, you can shoot the cats, the wild cats, moving targets. Oh. She's not paying attention to what I'm saying.
No. But yeah, there's
Seattle. Dave Williams says hi from Seattle. Hey, Seattle. I understand Canada wants to buy you. Did you see that?
No.
Oh. Well, you know how Trump is, always irritating people, because that's part of his negotiation skill. I appreciate it.
Oh, so you don't think he's crazy? You just think he's poking the bear, right?
It's kind of like when he talked to that guy up there, and then he showed him a picture of his house. He said, "We're going to negotiate," or he said, "I'm going to kill you."
Well, yeah.
I think that's great. Well, so what? So anyway, he said something about making Canada a 51st state. Now, obviously, we can't just say we're going to do that. People have to vote up there. There's all kinds of processes we'd have to go through. Well, Canada came back, somebody from Canada, somebody that really isn't anybody, because the guy that runs the place up there, what do they call him? The premier? We call ours the president. What they call that guy up there?
I don't remember.
He quit because he's a moron. So he finally quit after 9 years. And I don't know why they put up with him that long. But anyway, he quit. Well, now people are speaking for him, which I don't even know who these people are, saying, "Hey, Donald, maybe what we'll do is offer you a negotiate. We'll negotiate with you. We'll buy Minnesota and Washington, and hey, we'll buy California." I sit there watching. This is hilarious.
Oh, goodness. Laura said several years ago, some idiot put his hand into the wolf enclosure at Brookfield Zoo, and surprise, surprise, a wolf bit the idiot's hand. People do dumb stuff. It happens here, too.
I wonder how they've done that, because at Brookfield Zoo, most everything is away from where you're standing. You can't go up and stick your fingers in a wolf cage.
Well, like I said, you know, that's why we don't see the buffalo around here anymore. People do dumb things. So.
Well, the buffalo, I understand it, are here, but they're in a private area where people can't go.
Right.
Because people do stupid stuff.
Yeah. AIY says, are the older homes less than 5 years old better built than the new ones?
I don't think so.
We'll be coming down in March.
Our house is 10 years old. You can look at my house. You can go down south and look at them houses down there. There might be some minor changes that you won't see in construction. I don't know what that would be. It would probably be hurricane standards that have been changed, or it might be electrical standards, like here. Quiet. you're not allowed to have a wall plug, electrical wall plug, directly underneath an outside window. I think that's kind of weird, but anyway, you got to have them on each side of the window over here. They can't be directly underneath. Now, that's where I'm at. Now, up north, years ago, it was different. Down south, I don't know if it's any different now or not. I don't think so. But as far as the constructions go, I've watched them. They still make stucco sides with stackable blocks just like they always did. They still use the same concrete to put the slab in. The shingles has been upgraded from up north. Up there, they used 3-tab shingles back in the day because that's really all there was. Now they're using architectural shingles, which is a little bit better, a little sturdier. I don't know. I mean, the construction is good no matter where you go, pre-owned or bad. The only thing is about a pre-owned home, depending on how old you go back, to me, it's all about interior stuff, not really the structure of the house. It's all about the cabinetry. And every house I've been in, other than $1 million houses, the cabinetry sucks. It's cheap crap shit that you can buy at Home Depot that sucks.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. You can take it for what it's worth. The flooring that I've seen in any of these new houses down here pretty much sucks. And it's just stuff I'm not used to being from Indiana. In Indiana, you're not going to find a house that has laminate flooring through the whole house. It ain't going to happen. It's too cold in the winter. Down here, it's not unusual to find that. I don't like laminate flooring. We had it in our house. I had it all ripped out. I said, it seems to me if you're going to put in flooring, put in something that lasts for life and doesn't stain and doesn't fall apart. That being said, so we ended up putting tile down. Tile, to me, just seems to be the thing you want to use down here, if it's in your budget to do that.
And but he said they're coming down in March and don't know if they should look at new or used houses.
Both.
Yeah, you look at both because the used homes have a lot of stuff that's already done to them, which will save you some money. Some of them don't have a bond payment. If you don't know about the bond payment, that's something you should check into.
You can be paid for.
Yeah, and so there's reasons for both.
And get ready on a pre-owned home. You may want to do some upgrades depending on how old it is. Remember years ago, pink countertops was a thing. And the kind of a pinkish colored gray cabinetry, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know how to describe it. It was a thing. Today you look at it and you see, this has got to be changed.
With the turquoise carpeting,
refrigerators. I mean, even in our house, we have brand new stuff, but it was white. I was fine with it, but women don't like white. They want to have stainless steel for some strange, I don't know why, but that's what they have.
I like white cabinets.
Huh?
I like white cabinets.
Well, we had white trim in this house, and that's not uncommon for any house to have white trim and white doors. And I always liked that, thinking it's a Southern thing, white. Just looks clean. 10 years later, you look at this white stuff, and it starts not to look so clean anymore. Because when you mop the floors, the wet gets on the white, and I don't know. So do I like white or not? I'm thinking maybe if you could get some kind of like baseboard that would say a darker color, not just necessarily wood. You can get baseboard different colors here, brown, black, pink, whatever. But maybe a darker baseboard would actually serve a better purpose.
But especially if he's talking about one less than 5 years old, I definitely look at some used houses because less than 5 years old, like I said, they probably got some, like the lanai enclosed. They may have the driveway painted. They may have.
It's going to cost you more for a pre-owned home less than 5 years old.
Yeah. So I said, the difference in the prices, I said, take it into consideration. They've got a lot of stuff done to them. And some of them don't have a bond on them anymore. And that could save you a bundle right there.
And if you're talking about buying like a designer home where you have the property, you have the house, one thing about buying a new home, if it means anything, is it's yours. You can design it, upgrade it any way you want to make it yours. So you buy a pre-owned home, and it's good and it's bad, it's already done. You may want to upgrade it, you may not. I mean, it's just look and compare prices. Get IRA for pre-owned homes because the villages won't show you pre-owned homes unless it's listed with them. But get IRA to show you some of the pre-owned homes. And get a village real estate person, whoever.
Yeah.
And
that's Ira Miller, I&M Realty. And like in case you don't know who that is, but most all of us know who that is. So, and Ira's he's an honest guy. I said for a realtor, which that's kind of an oxymoron, but for a realtor, he's an honest guy. Brad Chase's Hall of Fame baseball broadcaster, Red Barber, coined the term catbird seat to describe his position high above home plate. Well, I wondered where that name come from. I'd heard that name a lot, catbird seat, but I didn't know where it come from. Okay. Brad Chase.
Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy. Jeremy McCook right there is a carpenter that specializes in custom closets and other things. You guys need anything done? Jeremy right there. That's the guy.
Fitted furniture.
I did a video with Jeremy, and you can go watch it. It has all the information on there, phone numbers and all this and that. He done our closet. He done Linda's closet. Mm-hmm. He done half a dozen closets here that I know of, people that I know that's on my Patreon.
Yeah.
And he done a great job. No complaints from anybody.
Brad Chase's skip is correct. We rented a courtyard villa in Cameron Grove last winter, which led us to purchasing our home in LaBelle North. Yeah, it's good to look around different parts. I said if you're renting, you have a chance to go out and look at these other houses in different areas and kind of compare.
Yeah, and kind of know what you want to be fairly close to. I mean, I don't know if people really think about that all that much. Do you want to be close to a rec center where you can go swimming pool every day? Do you want to be close to, I don't know, say executive golf courses where you can play golf 2 or 3 times a week?
Or downtown?
Or do you want to be close to a country club? Because that's where a lot of people like to go have lunch and dinners is at country clubs. Do you want to be close to a downtown where you can go to the square every night? Because you're one of the people that your exercise is I dance every night. And we know people do that every night. They dance. So you kind of know what you want to be fairly close to, and that'll kind of help shorten up your search.
Yeah. Missy Mo says, a friend of mine said the newer homes down south are now being built without ceiling fans, blinds in the window, and medicine cabinets. Does that mean the cheaper builds for faster houses going up?
Well, I don't know how that works because when we bought our house, we had no window blinds either here. Yeah. Ceiling fans, yeah, we had ceiling fans everywhere. Not where I wanted them, but they're everywhere.
Yeah.
The kitchen has no ceiling fan, which I always thought was kind of weird. But a lot of kitchens here don't have ceiling fans. Some of them do. I think the difference is in the kitchen is if you have the cathedral ceiling in your kitchen, you'll get a ceiling fan. We don't have that in the kitchen, so we don't get a ceiling fan. Yeah. Out in Lanai, we got one. If you get a bigger Lanai, you get 2 fans, and some Lanais have 3 fans. So yeah, we get fans, and I'm not sure what determines what houses get a fan, what houses don't get a fan, or.
I think it's up to the builder has a preset amount that he can use to build that house. And so they leave out what they have to when they're trimming their building supplies. So sometimes it's, like I said, we didn't have blinds here, but the neighbors next door did. So it's
we didn't have a garage punch code thing to open the door, but the neighbors did.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The price of the house determines what they put in it and what they don't. Not necessarily a cheaper build. It's just that particular, the options that come with it determines the price.
Yeah. There's nothing unusual about that. I know what you're saying, but nobody's cheaping out on you. It's just one of them things here.
Yeah. Laura says there are some 1-bedroom, 1-bath patio villas and 2-bedroom, 1-bath patio villas. Yes, there are. I think
one bath.
I think that the price doesn't reflect what those are, and I think they'd be something that would be hard to sell if I wanted to leave it. But they do have them. If you've got so much money to work with, and that's all you got, then those work. But like the 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and I know that's really all you need. But
I know many years ago they did have 1-bedroom, 1-bath.
But they do now. They're making them now.
Oh, they're doing it down here too. And the other construction just dawned on me about houses, about which is better than others. They're all pretty good. The newer construction down there has come out with the cement walls that are trucked in.
Yeah, and you see that on where it says C. When it has the name of the home, it says C on it.
Okay.
There's like a Jubilee C.
C, that's the concrete walls. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. I haven't really went over and double checked things years later, but I do know in Indiana they've been building them for years up there, and we're talking with cold temps, warm temps, the freezing and thawing. And people I know for facts that had semi trucks hauled them walls into these areas to have them constructed. They tell me that they're holding up just fine. Now, they don't have really much of a problem. Now, what's the process on them as far as insulation goes and all that? I don't know. But I do know that they're doing it here in certain areas. And I don't know that much about it here, but I can tell you they haven't had a problem.
Yeah. And I have not heard anybody complain about them. So
I have never heard anybody complain about them.
They are new.
But to be honest with you, I don't get out very much anymore to go down south and meet people and talk to them. We'll do a meet and greet whenever we can, But to actually get out and walk around the squares and stuff, I don't do that much anymore. And people's always wanting to know why, because we used to. Well, I couldn't monetize my stuff on YouTube anyway. So if I had music on there from the squares, they can't demonetize me because I'm not even monetized. Now that I am monetized, to make a couple of bucks here and there is kind of nice. It helps buy that to do this. So I don't do the squares because I'd have to swap the music out to my own music that I bought and pay for. Mm-hmm. And you can never get music to line up with the dance moves. It just never works. So I just don't even do it.
Mark Span says hello from Mark and Terry in Fort Worth. It's been 23, 24 degrees.
Hey, Fort Worth, you got a snowstorm coming, don't you? Or an ice storm?
He says, I've been out cutting firewood the last few days. Yeah, well, I said, keep cutting.
Yeah, I saw it on the news today that they're talking about the Dallas area possibly could get record snowfall or ice storm, something.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see. Jeremy McCook says Skip should get into ham radio. I'm a licensed operator, and there are a lot of operators in the villages.
I did ham radio years ago. It just ain't for me. I get bored. I get bored really fast, in case you guys don't know. I just get bored with it. And when I get just like the house, I've been here for 10 years. 3 years ago, I would have moved. Nothing about the house, nothing about the neighborhood. I just want something different. I just want to move on. I've been contemplating for the last 3 months about trading my motorhome off for something. Why? I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the one I got.
Yeah. Jerry says, where did the buffalo roam? Well, they're still here.
They're in a private area.
They're in a private area that we can't just go look at that buffalo.
Here's my theory. They bought the Rainey farm. The developer in this town bought the Rainey, I call it's a farm, but it's actually almost like a plantation. There's many homes on this farm. It's a big farm. And I'm thinking possibly they moved the buffalo out there. Because the thought was that they were going to move all their polo ponies that was over here over to there, which makes sense to do that. And so maybe the buffalo's over there.
Yeah. Rester says the new prefab walled building's been through a couple hurricanes already and are still standing, so I suppose they are as good. Yeah.
My concern about the walls is what I was always, concrete shrinks over time. It just does. It cracks. Does the concrete around the windows after say 5 years, 10 years, I don't know, is there cracks in the wall? That's all I was concerned about, Stat. I'm not really concerned about it falling apart or anything because, listen, you got building codes here. You got inspectors. You just can't put up a house and say we're going to sell it. Every stage of every house here has to be inspected. They'll put up in the foundation. Then they sign off on it. Then they'll put up the brick walls. Then they sign off on it. Then they put in the electricity. Then they sign off on it. So it's a process of things that goes on with inspections.
Yeah. Jerry Bell says last for life is how long in the villages? When somebody says last for life.
That's always been a joke around here when I give you a lifetime guarantee. I had a guy tell me one time, I said, well, how long is the guarantee on this? He just looked at me smiled and goes, well, lifetime. That's until you die.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
What's the bond? They never list that. Well, they do on every home. The bond is figured on how many homes in that area, what did it cost for the land, put in all the pipes, put in all the drainage, put in all the electricity, total it up, how many homes per acre or in that village area and divide it by this number, and that's the bond. So
But remember, when you're looking at a house and you're looking at the price of the house, you also want to ask them what the bond is.
yeah, they'll tell you.
Yeah, because it may, the bond may be higher than what you're willing to pay extra, because you're paying extra for that. You get that bond payment is every year with your taxes. You pay the bond also.
Yeah.
And so that's an extra payment that they don't tell you about. No, they tell you the price of the house. But then when you have to pay this bond, and you have like a 20 years to pay this bond, but it's a certain amount with your taxes every year. It just about doubles our taxes, actually, to pay the bond here.
Yeah, our bond is like, give or take, $2,000 a year.
Yeah.
And then our property taxes here is a little over $2,000. So
but yeah, they don't tell you the bond in that when they give you all the preliminaries. So ask them about that. Make sure.
And if that's an issue, and it is with a lot of people, or if nothing else, it's just strategically smart is if you can find your floor plan in a pre-owned area with a paid-off bond.
Yes.
But if the bond's paid off, there's a good chance the price of that house is going to be a little higher, because that real estate guy knows this same house down there has a $50,000 bond on it. So you can't have to play that game.
Well, and let's see.
Matter of fact, I hope I'm not saying too much, but Kevin Jacks that's on here, he's one of my moderators. He sold a house that was down in the Finney area when it was brand new and got rid of it. And then he learned that little game. And he bought a house up by Lake Sumter, and I'm jealous of that. And I've been to this house. It's a very nice home. He had to do a little bit of updating for himself, painting the walls, little things like that. He had a jungle bathroom, which I liked. He didn't like it. Or maybe Karen didn't like it. One of them didn't like it, and they had to take that out of there. But I walked in and said, I kind of like it, But anyway, he didn't like it. And they got a house up there with no bond. And it's a great deal.
Joe Jesse says, I see that even some of the 1980s manufactured homes in the historic area of the villages are generating sales prices of $200,000. So an old mobile home that needs updating may be the only cheap buy. Well, you're buying the lifestyle. You're not just buying your home, you're buying the lifestyle. And I said, you've seen what the prices are everywhere else. So it is a manufactured home, but most of the manufactured homes now, not all of them, but most of them have been remodeled and fixed and, updated to where you don't really have, like I say, what is a lifetime?
I asked Jose one time, we were talking about that in the golf cart ride. I said, I usually get two questions about, because he bought one of them up there. And I said, I get two questions about them all the time. I said, people are always concerned about, one, can you get insurance on these things up here? Which I guess would be an issue. He said, I did. And I said, the other one was that people are always concerned about these in hurricanes or whatever. I said, how many hurricanes have them things been through? And Jose looked at me real quick and goes, all of them?
Okay, I think we're to that time frame now. Let y'all know what's going on this weekend. This weekend at Lake Sumter is the 16th annual Art and Craft Festival. And now they have a little bit of everything. I'm hoping that the weather won't deter them, but they have a little bit of everything at this art.
Weather is always an issue this time of year. You never know.
Yeah, but it's Saturday the 11th and Sunday the 12th from 10 to 5, both days. And there's some neat stuff there. I mean, if you want to start your Christmas shopping for next year, that's where you start. And I love going to the craft shows. I mean, a lot of times they have the same thing, but you never know when there's that one vendor that you've never seen before or that has something different. And it's just something to do, kind of kill the time for the day. Like I said, you go walk around the craft festival and then go to lunch or whatever. So,
by the way, when she gets done real quick, I'm going to go through a couple of these questions. We're going to shotgun them real quick.
Okay. The fencing expo, I was talking about that. It's really, really fun to do, and it doesn't cost you anything. But the fencing expo is 10 a.m. January 13th at Lake Meona Rec Center and 10 a.m. January 20th at Everglades. The Lake Meona itself is worth a look because that's a beautiful rec center, and Everglades also. But take a look if you haven't ever seen it. January 13th, January 20th at 10 a.m. The running of the squares in Lake Sumter Landing, and it's at 8 a.m. On Saturday. It's a 5K. It costs $40, and if you want information on that or to sign up, it's districtgov.org. It's something I found that I thought was very, very interesting that you might be interested in. 2025 Lunar New Year Festival. It's a dinner theater. It has events, parades, performances by the Lunar New Year Dragon, lions, new drums, and performers from the village's community. Large selection of Chinese food. Sunday, January 26th at Savannah Center. It's at 5 p.m. It's $45 per person. Reservations and info can be made at rbtrask@aol.com, and you must have a resident ID. It's required. But I thought that was pretty cool. You know, it's dinner and everything. So for $45. Sounded like a good deal to me. Okay.
Okay.
You got the...
Well, I have to back up here. That's the one problem with these things. I wish there was a way that YouTube could make it where I could earmark the questions, where I knew exactly where they were at.
Yeah.
See, StreamYard, I can do that. I often thought about doing this on StreamYard. I mean, I'm still paying for StreamYard. I never use it. Wait a minute. Oh, it says the idiot. I'm reading the lower left. It says the idiot climbed the fence that surrounded the walls.
That's what I said. You know, it's
you just can't deal with stupid. Just like, and I'm not picking on people, but what roundabout has anybody heard of in the world that has a crosswalk in it? None that I know of. Not here.
Yeah.
And yet, 2 people got hit walking through a roundabout.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Barbara says, my priority to be no bond. Well, they're here. You just have to take your time. Don't do what I did. Take your time and you'll find one. Tell your IRA, if you buy a new home, you're going to get a bond, period. So new homes for you are out.
Yeah.
Jeremy's talking to people about his closets. Okay. Rosemary laptop. Rosemary says the thing that I like about Ira, he tells the price up front. Well, that's good, because that's the problem I have with a lot of people down here. They got something for sale, and then they end their video. That's it. There's no price. There's no nothing. Well, I don't want to waste my time calling people. I want to know how much it is. I'll tell you the worst, RV dealers. They have all these RVs that they want to sell. They show you how great they are, blah, blah, blah. And then they say, give us a call. I'm not into that.
Yeah. Kathy B in the 603 patio villa bond in the newer areas around $26,000. Yeah, like I said, the bond kind of goes up and down everywhere, depending on it depends on how many houses are in the area. That's how they figure that out.
Kathy B says a brand new 1,200 square foot topaz patio villa at Water's Edge for $259 with a 2-car garage. For here, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. And then, they don't list the bond balance, Barbara. Why, I don't know, but it's just one of those things. It's an extra. Like if you tack $20,000 onto the price of your home, basically that's what it'd be doing. But you can do it in increments.
Ira and I had a talk about that once about why would you not pay a bond off? Is the reason why we have not paid our bond off. It's down quite a bit now since we've been here 10 years. But the reasoning is 2 houses in the same area for sale. He pays his bond off. His price, because bonds here were $30,000. He pays his bond off. I don't pay my bond off. I can sell my house at a cheaper price and make the same profit, but he has to sell his house $30,000 higher than me to get his price. So when you look at the 2 houses, see, that's what would happen.
Yeah. Laura says it seems to be now a buyer's market for pre-owned homes. 550 plus homes on the MLS now.
Really?
How many pre-owned homes on the BLS?
Yeah, but 550 for what?
Yeah. Well, like I said,
stucco, stick built,
just a
3-bedroom, 1,200 square feet,
Yeah.
2,500 square feet. Next to a golf course?
Mark Span says what?
How about waterfront? Think about this, waterfront. These so-called supervisors here are nuts. Waterfront property, and yet you might have strangers park their car in front of your house to walk on the side of your house to go fishing in that pond that you paid to have premium price to get that waterfront view.
Mark Span says, what restrictions would the villages impose that would make you consider moving?
None right now. The only thing that would probably make me consider moving, and I probably would move, is if Sue passes away before I do, I'm not staying here by myself. I'd probably sell the house, store everything I can store, give everything away. That's what I would probably do to make it go fast. I don't like dicking around. I would probably just call some charity and say, hey, you can have the couch, you can have the chair, TVs, get it, take it all out of here, and sell the house, put the money in the bank, then get in my car and leave.
Yeah. Scott Hirschman wants to know why there's a time limit on live videos.
There is no time limit.
Well, we've got a life.
We make it 2 hours because a lot of people complain. I put a lot of videos out there about, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And I'm not kidding when I do that. Let me know what you think. And I have so many people tell me, and I had one just last night because I did it on Patreon. I said, tell me what you think. And she said, I don't hang around on Porch Settin because she said, I can't listen to nobody talk for 2 hours. Well, that's the truth. So we've got it to 2 hours, and I sometimes think that 2 hours is too long, just for the view.
Yeah.
The reason why we don't get so many views on this, at any given point on Porch Settin, it's only 2,000 views, which is like nothing in the YouTube world.
Yeah.
And I would have quit doing this over a year ago because of that. So I even thought maybe we ought to cut it down to 1 hour. And, but we've always had it at 2 hours, but maybe we need to cut it down to an hour. So I don't really know what to do half the time. I just go by the views. The views is like a vote. If you want it, you have to watch it. If you don't want it, don't watch it because if your votes are being counted. Yes.
And thank you to all the moderators that help us out there. We couldn't do this without you. It's there's a lot of people on here, a lot of comments, and you kind of are our buffer zone. Yeah. And we appreciate you. We really, really do.
You too, wrestler.
Teresa Hilton says, hello from Colorado. It's 35 degrees there. Well, it wasn't but an hour or two ago, it was 35 degrees here. Joseph Smith says, see you in a week. Scott, yeah, okay.
Somebody's asking about why 2 hours. Somebody said because everything overheats at 2 hours. That ain't true. It's only in the summer months when I'm sitting out front.
Yeah.
Because out front, it gets hot. I mean, it just gets hot. When it's 90 degrees outside, it's probably 120 out front out there because the sun, I've even thought about changing the time of Porch Settin to make it earlier so the sun's on the back side of the house here because then it's shaded out there. Or change it to out back here. I don't know. But, the sun glares on the iPad and, it overheats. And when it overheats, it just shuts off. There's nothing I can do.
William says, fastest 2 hours ever. Stay warm and see you next week. Well, we will.
We don't mind doing it. I'm just trying to figure out ways of getting more views of it. And I have 2 or 3 questions here, and I'll be damned if I can't find them.
Scott Hirschman says, watching Porch Settin, and me at work now with nothing to do. This is highly entertaining for me.
William said there's a place in Coleman you can stay for free. That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
It's called a prison.
It's called a prison. We got that too. No. I said, we got everything here.
There's an interesting story about that federal prison. You think federal, the name federal means that it's really, really tough, really high. It's escape proof.
Yeah.
And yet there's a mafia killer from, I think, New Jersey. I can't think of his name. You have to Google it to get the whole story. He was sent down to Coleman Prison. And somehow, some way, I can't remember the whole story. He disappeared. And then, even here in the villages, the cops were out looking for him. Days later, I don't remember how many days later, they found the guy. He was in Miami. How he got down there, nobody knows, but he was in Miami. And this was a hitman for the mafia.
Well, he knew his way around, evidently. Yeah. But I think that's, you can't find it?
I can't find it.
After 2.
Well, shoot. Well, I like to answer all the questions because
But sometimes we get so many, it's just hard to get them all in.
no, it's not really that hard. It's just I have a hard time finding them.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, well, whatever question it was, ask next Wednesday. We'll try to get to it. So, are we done?
I believe we're done. So y'all stay warm wherever you're at. For you on your way down here, hurry up. We're waiting. And
Bye, y'all.